Okay, if you're getting ready for the IBCLC exam, you know it can feel like you're trying to memorize, well, everything. And a huge piece of that puzzle is mastering the 7 core documents that are basically the rulebook for our entire profession. Right, 7 mandatory documents. It's so easy to get them all jumbled up, especially when you're under the pressure of the exam. But what if there was a really simple way to organize them in your mind so they just click, so they become second nature when you need them most? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are going to build a mental house together. It's a memory framework where each of those 7 documents has its own perfect logical spot. We're turning a boring list into a solid blueprint for your practice. So here's our plan. We'll start with the ethical foundation. Then we'll put up the practice walls, install all the operational infrastructure, connect our house to the wider world, and finally, we'll go over the house rules. You ready? Let's lay that first stone. So let's get into our professional blueprint. This whole house idea, it's not just some clever trick for the exam. Seriously, this is the framework you're going to use to build a solid, confident practice for your entire career. Okay, first things first, you gotta have a solid foundation. This is the why behind everything we do, and it's built from 2 really important documents, the Code of Professional Conduct and the Disciplinary Procedures. This is our ethical bedrock. And this quote right here from Principle 1 of the Code, this is the cornerstone. It's our mission statement. Every single thing we do, every choice we make, it all comes back to this one fundamental idea. So the Code is built on these major principles: client primacy, professionalism, confidentiality. But look at that last one, compliance. This is so important. It's the final piece that makes our foundation strong. See, when you become an IBCLC, you're agreeing to be held accountable by the disciplinary procedures. That's the enforcement. It's what gives our entire ethical code its teeth. All right, with that solid ethical foundation in place, it's time to put up the walls of our house. These walls, they define our practice. They tell us what an IBCLC actually does and how we do it. And that brings us to documents 3 and 4, the scope of practice and the clinical competencies. Now, this is a big one. It clears up a super common point of confusion. Just think of it this way. The scope of practice is your playground. It sets the boundaries, the fences. The clinical competencies, those are the skills you need to play safely and effectively inside that playground. One defines the space, the other defines the skills you use in it. Make sense, right? Every house needs plumbing and electricity. The stuff that makes it actually work day to day. For us, that's our operational infrastructure. These are the systems that guide our daily work, and they're covered in 2 documents, the documentation guidelines and the guidance on workplace laws and policies. And let me tell you, your documentation is so much more than just taking notes. It is a legal record, it's a reflection of your standard of care. Every single piece, from getting that consent to writing follow-up notes, is absolutely crucial. It protects your client, it protects you, and it makes your care is consistent. But what happens when our professional standards kind of clash with where we work? This is a really critical piece of our infrastructure and, honestly, a classic exam scenario. What do you do when the IBCLC's guiding documents say one thing, but your employer's policy says another? And here's the answer loud and clear. The crucial takeaway is this: while you are always guided by IBCLC standards, your employer's policy is the ultimate authority in your workplace. You have to follow it. This is a vital concept you need to have totally locked down for the exam. So our professional house doesn't just sit there in a bubble. Nope, it's connected to a global community, to a worldwide public health mission. And that connection is made through one very, very important document, the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes, which we all just call the WHO Code. And you have to see this timeline. The WHO Code was adopted in 1981. That's 4 years before the IBLC even existed. This context is key. It shows that the code has this foundational authority that predates our profession, setting the stage for our commitment to protecting breastfeeding from commercial interests. As IBCLCs, we're considered health workers under the WHO code. And that means we have a professional responsibility to uphold these principles.
We have to make sure parents get information that's free from all that commercial influence. And just remember, even if the code isn't actually law in your country, upholding it is a core professional best practice for us.
So there you have it. Our house is built, the foundation is solid, the walls are up, the electricity is running, and it's connected to the whole world. Now let's just step back and take a look at the final blueprint.
See how it all just fits together so neatly? We have our ethical foundation, our practice walls, our operational systems, and our global connection. All 7 of those documents now have a clear, logical place in your mind. No more jumbled lists. By visualizing each document as a part of this house, the foundation, the walls, the systems, that global connection, you've basically created a mental map. It's like a memory palace that turns that intimidating list into something intuitive and logical that you can pull up easily on exam day. Because when it comes right down to it, these 7 documents, they aren't just a list you have to memorize for a test. They're the living, breathing blueprint for a career that's safe, ethical, and incredibly effective. This is the very structure that's going to support you and the families you serve for years and years to come.